Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ITS148, and today's October 13th. And let me share my screen real quick here. And we are in this period here as section 12, and last time I started to talk about this assignment 3, and I've actually changed it a little bit, made it a little easier, covered a few more things, and also extended the due date. And so I'd like to go over that today. So let's go to this first of all. So let's go to the assignment. Let's see what it looks like. This is it here, assignment 3. I sort of renamed these things. And so I decided that the first part here is just get this lab running on your server. So just exactly how it is for lab 12.8, get that running on your server for part 1. And then part 2 will make this slight modification where we are, instead of just automatically writing to this file, we're going to ask the users, your program will ask the user the name of the file, and also have the program output a prompt string for the input function here. Very simple, very simple. The third one here is also very simple. It's instead of asking the user for the input file and the output file, we're just gonna have it so the input file and the output file are included in the command line as command line arguments. You recall that's covered in this chapter also. And then this fourth one is also very simple. We go back to the first one here, and instead of asking the user for the input file, we will get this program to run as a CGI script, or from the web server, and have it execute that way. And instead of writing the output to a file, we will just have it display out to the browser. So these are very simple changes, and I'm going to the original program, and I will go through them today, and we might not take the whole period. So let's go to the textbook, and I'm going to open up the textbook here. It's CY Books. Oh, dot. Yeah, that's right. We're doing this one, and it is 12.8. This one, this lab course grade. And you recall we're supposed to write a program that reads, asks the user for a file, and the file is going to look like this. Here's an example of a studentinfo.tsv file that looks something like this, and then here's what we want the output to look like. So just probably already know how to do this, but I'm going to open up Excel here. And I'm going to open up this, download this info.tsv file, and I'll open let's see what this does. What does this get me? Gets me this. And what happens if I open this up? What can I open it in? Notepad. All right. And I can take this and copy it and come back to Excel and paste it right here. And here is our tab separated. You can paste a tab separated file right into Excel, and it looks like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something like this, where if we're going to write this in a program, if an A is greater than or equal to 90, a B is between 80 and 90, a C is between 70 and 80, so on. And it will look like this. So basically, we're going to put compute the average here. And I'm not going to write it. Well, I could write it. Why not? I know how to write Excel. Let's see if let's see. Let me first do AVG average. So the idea is if average is this is going to be too long of an expression, so I'm not going to bother trying. But anyway, the letter grades should go here based on after computing the average of these three grades. So anyway, so let's just start writing the program here. I'm gonna here's my ITS148 folder. I'm gonna take this out of here and put it in here. And now when I open up this, I should see it here. When I open it up, I can open it up in a different editor this time, and we see this is what it looks like. Okay, so so that's what the program looks like. And let me go here and I guess I can try to get it to run here. Yeah, what the heck? I might as well try to get it to run here. All right, so declare the necessary variables. I'm going to start out with, we're going to have an input file, input file equals something. Do I have some notes around here someplace? Yeah, okay, so we're going to have an input file equals something like student, well, we're going to ask the user for what this is, aren't we? Input, that's going to be the input file. And we're going to have, well, that's what this is. Here we're going to have four variables. Okay, so this is the okay, so it's last name, first name, midterm score, and final score. I'm going to copy these here. Copy. And so I'm going to have separate lists for each one of these. Okay, so let me just do this. I'm going to have a list called last name, and it's going to be equal to a list. And then I'm going to have a list called first name and a list called midterm score 1, midterm score 2, midterm 2, and final. Okay, and these are all going to be arrays. How's that? Lists. In Python, it's called a list. Okay, so we got 5 lists, and last name of 0 is going to be Barrett. Last name of 1 is going to be Bradshaw. Last name of 2, of 3, of 4. First name of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Midterm 1 of 0, 1, 2, and so on. So that's what those are going to be. And I guess we're going to have a report. The output's just going to go to this report.txt. Is that right? Yeah. So I'm just going to say output file equals report.txt. Okay. And then I'm going to read this input file. That's fine. So I got a TSV file, and then I'm going to open up the file. You know, it's dumb to do this in here because I want to refer back to the textbook. So I'm sorry. I'm going to open up a another little. I'm going to open this up. New. And I'm going to call this lab 12-8.py. Save as that. Okay, so I'm going to put all this in here. Copy, paste. Okay, so this is my program, and I want to refer to how I'm going to open up files. So let me see. So let's go back to here. Let's go to 12, right to reading files. I'm going to be reading a file. Yeah, I can leave. Reading file. And we can do this. Read the text file into a string. With. Okay, I'm going to use this. What is the plus? Oh, reading and appending. That's nice. I don't need to read it. No, I don't need. Okay, so I want to use this thing here with. All right, I got to open up the file. And what am I opening up? I'm opening up this thing as, I don't know, called scores or something. How's that? Scores. And I want to, so it's going to be 4 lines, 5 or however many lines it is. I'm going to split that up into just lines. So I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to use the read lines method. There's a read lines method. Here we go. So this is an example of we open up the file and then we read in the lines by using this read lines method. And then this puts all the lines in the file into this array of lines. And we close it up. And then we can loop through the array of lines and do whatever we want with them each one line at a time. So that's what I'm going to do. So I say, score, so student equals file, no, scores dot read lines. Okay, so this is the name of the file. This is what we're going to call it, and this is, so you know, this file opens up, and this is the object. And along with that object comes this read lines method. And what this is, when we do it this way, it takes the read lines and puts them into this array. It's an array called student. And then we can do for each student, or I'm going to call this students. And I'm going to say for student in students. That sounds better, doesn't it? I'm going to say, I got to get the fields out, the columns. It's not as nice as other languages. So I'm going to say columns equals, I'm going to take the student and I'm going to split on the tab character. And I don't know, is that like this? I think this will work. Actually, I don't think I need to put anything, but I'm going to put that there because that's what we're doing, splitting on the tab character. And then I'm going to say that I have these four array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arrays now. The first one is last names. So last name dot append. And the first thing I'm going to append is columns of 0. And so that's last name. And then let's put in what the first name is the next one. Append, that's how we stick something onto an array. Columns 1 of 1. Okay, so you understand what's going on here. Columns that's columns 0. You know, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, and 4 are the scores. And so columns 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the next one is midterm 1. And that's 2. And then midterm is columns 3. And final append is columns 4. Okay, so they're all in there. And now I got to, for a student, I got to figure out what the average is. So I'm going to figure out the average between these 3. And then based on that, using this logic here, I'm going to assign these grades. Okay, so to figure out the average, I gotta first, these should be integers. So I'm just gonna make them integers right here. So they go in as integers. So let me int. Okay, so they're going to go in as integers, and now I can add them up. This is a good thing to do. Great. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to do this differently. I'm going to say, I'm going to first call it M1. M1 equals that. M2, oops. M2 equals, I forgot, 3. And I'm going to say F equals 4. And I'm just going to say this is F. And then I'm going to say average is equal to M1 plus M2 plus F divided by 3. And that's the average. And then I'm going to say if average is greater than or equal to 90, then grade equals A. LF average is greater than or equal to 80. In that case, the grade is equal to a B. LF average is greater than or equal to 70. Then the grade is equal to C. LF average is greater than or equal to 60. LF, grade equals D. Else grade equals F. Bam. All right. So that works. And then I can say grade append grade. Just like that. And then I can do so I am reading these one at a time, aren't I? This open spot reads up to students. I'm done reading up to students. I can close it now, can't I? I do close it because I come back over here. I'm out here, and so now I have this array called students. I guess I can open up. Why don't I open up the output file? So I'm going to say with open report. What is it called? Output file. Open that. Less W for writing. I guess for writing. Yeah. And I'm going to say it's as report file. Why not? How's that? Okay. Kind of silly. I'm calling it that. Okay. So I'm going to call. So that's how I'm going to refer to it. How about if I just do rep file? That's shorter. And then I got to indent all this because I want this to all be done inside there. So for each one of these students, I do all this. You know, I don't even need to save these. I don't know why I'm even saving them. Okay, so here's how I print that out. I'm going to skip the, I'm going to go like this. Last equals columns 1. Column 0, I mean. First equals columns 1. And then I'm also going to put last first. And I wonder if I even need to even save these arrays at all. I'm wondering if I even need any of these. Excuse me. So anyway, so here I got to print out to the report file. Print. I'm going to do Okay, it's got to be a tab output, so I guess I'm going to do this. This. Oh, this is going to be the last name, and this is going to be the first name, and this is going to be the midterm score 1, and this is going to be the midterm score 2, and this is going to be the final, and this is going to be the grade. Okay, oops. Yeah. And do that. And what I'm going to put there is, I'm going to put a last name. I'm going to put a first name. I'm going to put an M1. I'm going to put an M2. I'm going to put a F, and I'm going to put a grade. Oh, I got to say comma, and I got to say the file equals rep file. Okay, that is this. So print this not out to the screen, but to this file, this one, this one, this one, which is this one. All this indirection, you know, when I first started learning about programming, all these sort of, you know, you have where you want to write it. That's the name of the file. That's what the operating system calls it. But then you have to say that there's this thing called output file, and that's equal to where you want to write it. And then over here, you got to open whatever you called it up here with this sort of attribute here. And then we're going to call it this. And then once we have this name, then that's what we use to say this file equals that. You know, why do we got to, you know, have all these levels? Well, that's just how programming is. So that's going to print out the thing in the file. So I tell you what, I'm going to run this. I'm going to run this right now and see what it looks like. I'm going to save this here. And this is in the same file, so I can use this one. Let me bring up my command line. And let me go to my desktop. ITS148. Here I am. And I'm dealing with this one right here. This is the one I just made at this time on this day, which is today. And this is the file. This is the file I'm going to use. It's the file I'm going to enter it to process. And so let me go. I just need to go Python over here, right? Yeah. So Python space lab 12-8.py is, so it's asking me the file name, student info.tsv. Okay. And let's see, dir, and look at that right here. And how do I list it? How do I list it? Cat? No, what's the DOS command? Type? Report? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so look at that. This guy got an F. Oh, I'm a FABDC. FABDC. All right, so that looks like that works. And now all we need is this averages line. Oops, it's this averages line. So we got to figure out what the average of these three is. We can do that here. We are Okay, so we're looping along and we want to have a midterm total and a final total. We want to have a, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of all these. I'm going to get rid of this. Hope I'm doing the right thing here. And I want to get rid of this, because you see, I don't think I need these. But what I do need is I need to save. I need to have a midterm total because I want to compute the average. So I'm going to have to. This is a midterm total. Midterm 1 total equals 0. Midterm 2 total equals 0. Final equals 0. Because I got to figure out what the average of all these are. Start out with that. I don't need this. So here I'm going to say, as I loop through, I'm going to say midterm, add M1 to that. Midterm 2, add M2 to that. And final, add F to that, equals F. That adds them up. And I got to, okay, so it's going to be, and it's going to be that many, no, it's going to be the length of this. That's how many of them there are. Is that right? Yes, okay. So, okay, so good. So that's it. I'm all done with this. And I'm still got to have it open. So I'm going to go outside of this. Oh, yes, outside of this, we're done with the for loop. And we've summed up midterm 1, midterm 2, and final. And so I'm going to say, I'm going to print. I'm going to compute this first. Midterm M1. On my computing averages, M1 AVG equals midterm 1 divided by the length of students. So however many students there are, that's how many of midterms there were. And so I added up all of them and I divide by that number, and that gives me an M1 average. And M2 average is equal to midterm 2 divided by the same thing. And the final fin average, called that, equals final divided by the length of the students. Okay, so those are the averages. And then I got to print that out. Print. I'm going to print, I'm going to do a new line, I guess. Why not? And I'm going to say averages is going to be like the midterm 1 is equal to, is going to be the first one. And I'm going to do a format here, a format of 2 digits to the right, a floating point number, 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, period 2F. That's going to be the first one. And I'm going to do a final, midterm 2. 2 is going to be same kind of thing. And the final average is going to be okay. And so then I got to do a dot format, M1 AVG, M2 AVG, fin AVG. End of this. And again, I got to do the same kind of thing. We're going to send it out to this file here called rep file. Okay, so so let's see. I initialize these three variables because I'm going to compute the average. I set out file equal to this because that's where I'm going to send the report. And then I read the input file from the user. And then I open up the input file, calling it this name, scores, and I read them all up and store them into this. Is going to be a list. It's going to be a list of each line has got a set of scores for each student. And then I'm going to open up our output file for writing, and I'm going to, for each row or each student, I'm going to, in students, I'm going to split that row up, grab out the last name, grab out the first name, grab out the midterm score 1, save it because I'm going to add them up, grab out midterms 2, sum it up. Sorry, sum is what I meant. Grab out final, sum it, compute the average, figure out what the grade is from that, and print that out. And so this print goes along with this 4 for each of the students. It's going to print this. Once it's all done printing that, it's going to pop back out to the same level as the 4, and it's going to compute the averages and then print those out. So let's see what this looks like when I run it. No, oops. That's what I want. There, Python, okay. And it's going to ask me for student info.tsv. Then I'm going to type out the report. And it does the names, and it has this midterm final. Is those the right values? Let's see. 83.4, 76.6. Okay, those look good. All right, so now the next test is to see whether it accepts this as the correct answer. Spaces at the top here. I need those. So I'm just going to take this and copy it and go over here, and I'm going to see if it accepts it. Paste. Submit. So submit. Oh gosh. Well, you can fix that, okay? I didn't get any points. Well, you can fix that. Anyway, so I've got something here that'll work if I just fix this. So let's go over to our, now let's do this assignment. I've got something here that works, okay? And so I'm gonna open up my, my server. I'm supposed to open up my cPanel, and I'm gonna go in here and create this directory, and I'm gonna, okay, so let's just do that. Time is it 3:15. I'm gonna go to my server. It's this, and I'm gonna go to my cPanel, and I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna log in, and here I am. And I'm going to go to the file manager. Okay, first of all, here's the terminal. I'm going to use a terminal. So I'm going to pop that out. And the way I'm going to pop it out is here. If I click on this, my cPanel is going to go away. So I'm going to right click and open it in the new tab. So this is the terminal I'm going to use to debug. And let's go back to my cPanel. And let me go up to file manager. And here I am in my public HTML directory. Let's go into there. And here I am, and I'm going to create a new directory called lab 12.8. It's going to be called this. Make sure it's named exactly this, and it's inside here, okay? So I'm going to create this. Copy. Right. Okay, I'm in my file manager. I'm in public underscore HTML. See, there's my CGI. I'm in here, and I'm going to create a folder, plus folder, and I'm going to name it that, lab 12.8, capital L, create new folder. There I am. Here it is. Go in there, and I'm going to create a new file called main.py. And I'm going to edit main.py, and I'm going to copy in my lab 12.8. So I'm going to copy this in. Anyway, so I'm going to save this. All right, so I'm going to copy this in. So go over here, and directory is empty, and I'm going to create a new file called main.py in lab 12.8. There it is. And I'm going to go in here and edit this. And I'm going to paste this in. Select all, copy and paste. And see how it does that. If I click on this thing up here, it gives me lets me use the whole screen here. And so this, I just copied this in. I can get rid of some of this crap. Anyway, save this, and then I can go back to my terminal. Where's my terminal? Oh, here's my terminal. And if I do this is Linux now, so to display everything, dir works, but it only shows ads. But if you do ls-l, you get a listing. Now this is at the root directory. Here's public HTML, so I have to go in there, and cd works, cd public HTML. And now when I do an ls-l, I see here I am, and here's the lab 12.8 that I just created. So let's go in there, cd lab 12.8, and now do a ls-l. And there I am. Here's my main.py, and I'm going to try to execute it now. Oh no, I need my student info in there. So let's go back out to here, and I'm going to create a new file. Oh, I can just upload student info, can't I? Upload. Upload student info. Whoa, look at that. All right, go back. And look, there it is. Edit. Yep, there it is. So I'm gonna maybe add another name here. How about Schmo tab Joe? Joe got a 95 tab 96 tab 97. Okay, he did really well. So I'm going to save that, add Joe Schmo to that. And so anyway, let's go back to the terminal. And so I'm going to run this. So I have to do Python 3, remember, because if I just do Python, it's version 2. So Python 3 space main.py. And it's asking me for the name of the student info.tsv. And what's wrong? Let's see, let's take a look. Split, import, Scores, input. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm supposedly I've read up the number of students, so I'm going to print len students, and it should print out however many students are in there. Yeah. Right after I read them up. Let's try this again. Student info.tsv. That was right here. Line 12 doesn't like line 12. Gosh, it's all these crazy errors. What's on line 12? Why this isn't working? All right, now let's get rid of this. Line 12. Oh, what? Students. Students. Save this. Run it again. Student info.tsv and 6. Okay, so it read all 6 of them, and now it doesn't know what that is. Columns 1. Let's see, columns 1. Seems to think that's okay. Well, maybe this is the problem. I'm gonna just take this out. That should work. I know. First, I'm going to do this. Print. Let's see what that looks like. Might look funny. Oops, not here. Here. Student info.tsv. Oh. It's not liking something here. It's not taking this as a tab, is it? It took these as tabs, but it didn't take this last one as a tab. That looks like that's what the problem is. Let me open this up. And I'm going to see, what is this? Those are spaces, aren't they? Whereas this is actually a tab. This is actually a tab, isn't it? Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'm just going to take this line out, save it. Well, I'll tell you what, I can do this. I'm going to copy this, copy paste, and I'm going to make this be Schmo, and I'm going to make this be Joe, and I'm going to make this be 96, 95. How's that? And then I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to run this. And student info.tsv, and that looks good. So I just printed out the 6 in the last names there. But let's see what, let's refresh this, reload it, and oh, looky here. So let's look here, and we see this looks like, there it is. So it looks like it runs here. And what you can then do is, now this isn't working yet. It's going to be working very soon. But when you click on here, you're going to be able to test it here. Okay, but it's not working yet. Okay, I don't think it's working yet. In fact, I know it's not working yet. I'm going to show you though. It's going to look something like this. And what this does, I don't know, this might not even work. It actually, it's a program that I wrote that actually logs into your account here. It logs into Richard H. And it, first of all, it CDs to public HTML, CDs to your folder. If your folder is not there, it's going to be an error. It won't work. But if it is there, it displays out to make sure that you've got some kind of what? Is that in there? I didn't think that was in there. Anyway, I didn't think that was in there anymore. But anyway, oh look, it prints this out. So do I actually have I used to have that in there, so I'm not sure why this is actually displaying. But anyway, so that's how that'll work. And what time is it? It's 3:27. So let me just quickly do the other three. Okay, so part 2 means you change it so it it asks for the output file, and it actually says this in the input file. So what you do is you go over here and you take this and you right click and you make a copy of main, and you call it main2.py. And then you go into main2.py. And you're basically just going to make it so when it asks, it says something. When it asks, it says this. And it also asks for the output file. So after this, okay, so it puts that there. That's fine there. And then it's going to ask, and I'm going to call it something else, temp out file equals input, enter output file. And if temp out file, if the user entered something, if the user entered something, then make output file equal what you just read in. Okay, and that's pretty much all you have to do, because so it'll ask you what the input file is, and then it'll ask you what the output file is. So if we save this, and if we run this, oh, let me get rid of. I don't need to print this anymore. Oh, it's a hashtag. And I don't need to print the last name anymore. I think I can put my comments there and it'll still work. So I'm gonna go to, oh. Why do I keep going to this? I'm gonna close this. So here. And I'm gonna go to main 2. And it's gonna ask, now it asks, input file name, student info.tsv. And what's the output file? I'm gonna call it report2.txt. And boom. And now when I look over here, I see that I have got, now I've got a report 2 also, which just showed up here. I don't know why my report 1 is smaller. Oh, because it, what is this? Oh, maybe because I've got that line there too. Okay, anyway, so that looks like that works. Let's do the next one. Number 3, take take main2 and call it main3 and make the arguments come from the command line. So I'm going to go to main2. I'm going to close this. Go here. I'm going to go to main2, and I'm going to copy and call it main3.py. And go in here. And I got to make this come from the command line. It's no longer this. And it's no longer this. And I can say input file equals, oh, I need to do some more stuff, don't I? Command line arguments and files. This, I need to bring these two things in here. Copy. Paste. And why? Because I want to be able to see if the file exists, and I want to be able to get at the arguments. So arg0 is going to be the name of the file. Arg1 is going to be this, and we're also going to have an arg2. So this one is equal to sys.arg1. What does it look like again? It's like this. So, now you should do this where you check if it exists. If it doesn't exist, then you just exit. If it does exist, then you continue on. But anyway, this is what I want for the first one. So that's going to be the input file. Ooh, semicolon. And then the temp output file can be I should check to see the number of if sysarg v if the length of sysarg v, if that's equal to 0, 1, 2, if it's equal to 3, then I know that they've entered a report file, and I can say temp out file equals sysarg v of 3, no, of 2, and this. Okay. I still might as well check to see if the length is greater than 0. It's going to be greater than 0 because otherwise this wouldn't be there, but it's fine. And I think this might be all I need to do. So I save this, and now I can do main3 TS main3, and I'm going to change this to, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to make a copy of this. Oh, I do have a TS. I do have this here. Oh, because I saved it twice. What am I thinking? Boy, sorry. I do these problems so many times, and then I erase the directory, and I do it all over again, and I forget what I've repeated already and what I haven't. So anyway, there is that there. It's got, this one has One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one's got less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, I know where this came from. Okay, so this is. So I did make this before. Surprised this is still in here. Oh, I know why it's still in here. because when I run that script to test it, it creates this file. When I run this, it actually creates this file. That's why it actually created this file. That's why it's there. So anyway, this file is there. So I can use this file. So let's go back to here and try it. main3.py, and now I have to do the input file followed by the output file. So I'm going to do student info 2.tsv. It's a different one. And if I don't say anything, then it's just going to put it in report. So I'm going to do that, and it should put it in report. And oh, it's not type, it's cat. Linux, it's cat. Okay, and see these are my made up names. And also, though, if I actually specify the output file, not that one, this one, and I specify the output file, report 3.txt, then if I can do cat report 3.txt, and you see it's there. Okay, so that's the third one. The fourth one, let's do that. And the fourth one, we're going to start with main. We're going to go back to the first one and create that. So let me go back to here and go to here and do a right click and copy. And I'm going to call it main4 UI. And here it is. Let's go in here. And let's see, the first thing I got to do is, instead of asking the user for the name, grab it from, oh yeah, you want to be able to grab it from the command line. Okay, so the first thing I got to do, instead of outputting to report to a file, just output it to the browser. First of all, let's get this to run on from the browser, and we got to put this line on top, and then this line after that. So I'm just going to copy both these, and I'm going to put them right on top here. Paste. So that's got to be there, and then I need to have this there to print that out. And what else do I need? Let me go back to. Let me go back to my first assignment. And I got to make sure that, oh, I need this import sys. No, import CGI. I need this because I need to get at these things. Oh, let me just copy this. I'll just copy this part. No, I'll copy this part. Copy. And let me go back to 4. And I got to put that someplace. Let me just go here, yes. Import CGI, calling it form is fine. If I'm looking for oh, what is this say to do? I want it to be this. Input file equals that. Okay, so input file. So this is the name of the name for the name value pair. I got to make sure to change the file permissions too. So I'll go to this input file. Input file. Input file. What am I trying to grab? I'm trying to grab input file here. Okay, so let me I'm just going to do this. Instead of having it be this, I'm going to say have it be this. Form input file dot value. Okay, so this is what this is. So when I execute it, I'm going to be doing this, you know, and I'm going to put this at the end, and that's going to grab that file. Okay, so let's grab this. Gets me to CGI. I don't need this anymore. Report file. Oh, we're not going to do a report file anymore, are we? So, but we are going to get an input file from this URL, and for output, we're not going to write anything. So I don't need this anymore, which means I got to pull all of this back. And when I print, I'm not printing to the file anymore. I'm just printing out, and it'll go out to the browser. Get rid of that, and it's just going to print it out. And if this were running at the command line, it would print. It would just display out on the terminal. But here it's just going to I'm running it from the browser, so it's going to display out on the browser. Okay, so let me save this. It's still not going to work though, because it's in here, and it is this one. It's still not going to work because I need to change the file permissions. So it's this one, and notice it's 644. I need to change the permissions to 755. And now I should be able to execute it, and it doesn't do anything because it does not have a, I should print out an error message. Input file. We need an input file. If input file, if the length of the input file, I should check to see if it exists. I should check to see if the input file exists, shouldn't I? That was right here. I'm just going to copy this over. Copy. And I'm going to put that right here. If not OS input file, I just put that right in here. If this file does not exist, then print that out to the browser and stop. Otherwise, I can continue on. So let me save this. And now let me run this, and it should say, well, let's see what happens when I actually put something here. Question mark, input file equals student info TSV. Go back to the terminal and try to run this main4.py. Okay, what's the error? No, that's not an error. It's not an error. Oh, well, it's just because of that. Okay. All right, let's get this to work. Let's go to here, and this goes out. This, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say print. Prints, that's nice. And let's go back to here then. So that prints, reads that, and the file must exist. So Well, maybe this doesn't work. If the length of input file equals 0, then print that. Oh. Well, looks like, yeah, why is it printing everything twice? When do I print? Oh, I know, because I have that still in there. Let me take that out. I do not need to print hello anymore. I don't need to print the length of the students anymore, and I don't need to print the last name anymore. Now, let's run this, put the student info there, refresh, and look at that. And these are that name. Now, if I do this 2, which is still there, this is the other set of made-up names I had. All right. Well, anyway, it looks like we've done all 4, and when the auto grader is working, I will be sure to let you know, and you'll be able to test your stuff that way. And you should be all set for this assignment 3. Thanks for watching.